Hello, you are welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom here on Channel 1 TV. We are broadcasting live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up. Controversial anti-LGBTQ+ bill finally laid before Parliament for consideration.
The expectation is that within this meeting, this Honourable House and all relevant committees will attach alacrity to this bill to pass it with urgency.
Also coming up, President John Dramani Mahama wants Ghana to take advantage of the recent global cocoa turmoil.
Recently, we've had a crisis with cocoa. It hasn't affected only Ghana. It's affected all cocoa-producing countries. And it shows how unstable raw material exports are if you don't process.
Food and Drugs Authority cautions against the use of cement in the preservation of beans. And later, sponsors of the 2026 Heritage Caravan excited ahead of the 8-day trip across 14 regions.
We are ready, and from how preparations have gone, from how sponsors like you have joined, we know that the experience that we want to give our patrons will be what we will give.
In Channel 1 Business, Chinese vehicles gradually flooding Ghana's automobile market despite a reduction in prices of used vehicles. And in Channel 1 Sports, Sports Ministry optimistic Black Princesses will qualify for 2026 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland. Thank you for choosing the Channel 1 Newsroom. Let's begin the bulletin from Parliament, where the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, popularly known as the Anti-LGBTQ+ Bill, has been laid before the House for consideration. The proposed legislation, which seeks to criminalize activities related to homosexual, bisexual and transgender persons, is being sponsored by 10 members of Parliament drawn from both sides of the House. Following its first reading, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, referred the bill to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee for further consideration and report. Parliamentary correspondent Ni Ayuku Okai reports.
Members of Parliament from both sides of the House on Tuesday laid before Parliament the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025, popularly known as the Anti-LGBT Bill. Now, the bill seeks to criminalize activities of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender. The legislation was actually passed by the 8th Parliament, but failed to receive presidential assent, thereby elapsing with the 8th Parliament. However, it has been reintroduced for consideration. Let's bring you highlights of what actually transpired during the first reading of the bill.
To protect marriage as contracted between a man and a woman, and to ensure that the family system, which we both cherish, are preserved. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, it is the expectation of the sponsors, which is bipartisan. It is a bipartisan private members bill which must be on record. And the expectation is that within this meeting, this Honourable House and all relevant committees will attach alacrity to this bill to pass it with urgency, as a matter of urgency.
If we want to go partisan on this bill, it will be a problem. So it is important from the beginning that the bipartisanship is reflected at every stage, indicating our support and commitment to the passage of this bill, a commitment that we know will go up to the signing the bill. Because the other time, the commitment went and then it stopped at the gate of the Flagstaff House. This time to go into the Flagstaff House and we will sign it.
The minority leader, Alexander Apenyomaken, in a statement on the floor of Parliament, called on the government to immediately reverse its reduction of the producer price of cocoa.
We, the minority, hereby call on the government as a matter of urgency to restore the producer price of cocoa in Ghana to its original value of 3,625 Ghana cedi per 64 kilogram bag with immediate effect. We also demand that government and Cocoa Board pay any difference that farmers and the LBCs might have suffered already by the recent announcement.
Cocoa prices can be reviewed upwards and can also be reviewed downwards. And that when you review it downwards, it's not an illegality. Same way, when you review it upwards, it's also not an illegality. So the charge that reviewing it is illegal is unfounded both in law and also in practice.
The Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ajare, also appeared in Parliament to answer questions, and she provided an update on the Commander's Sugar Factory.
The factory has been disconnected from the National Grid by Electricity Company of Ghana and water supply by Ghana Water Company Limited due to unpaid bills. Added to the poor state of the equipment, the facility has accumulated significant debts. Further, operationalization of the factory has also been hindered by lack of raw materials. The ministry has prioritized the engagement of a transactional advisor to package the factory and secure a strategic investor to operationalize the factory and farms in the 2026 budget.
The majority caucus in Parliament has reiterated the assurance that President Mahama is committed to assenting to the anti-LGBT bill if passed by Parliament. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, Ni Ayikwe Okain.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama says the ongoing turmoil in the global cocoa market should be a turning point in Ghana's dependence on the exports of raw commodities. Now, speaking at the Ghana Tree Crops Investment Summit and exhibition held here in Accra, he stressed the importance of expanding value addition within the agriculture export sector. There is more in this report.
Highlighting key issues in the agriculture sector, the President pointed out the vulnerability of economies that rely heavily on unprocessed raw exports, especially cocoa, as the second biggest producer of the commodity. His remarks come as Ghana's cocoa industry is grappled with liquidity challenges it has faced in decades. He urged the country to treat the disruption as an opportunity for transformation.
Recently, we've had a crisis with cocoa. It hasn't affected only Ghana. It's affected all cocoa-producing countries. And it shows how unstable raw material exports are if you don't process and add value. And that means that we must take advantage of this crisis to make a pivotal change in how we handle our raw exports. And we've exported raw beans since Gordon Gaggisberg's time. For those of you who don't know Gordon Gaggisberg, he was one of the colonial governors. And Ghana, at that time, was the leading exporter of cocoa. And to think that in the 21st century, we are still the largest leading exporter of raw cocoa beans, that is not an accolade we should take pride in. We should take pride in being the leading exporter of manufactured cocoa products. This crisis must mark a turning point in our cocoa industry.
He announced reforms to the cashew industry and says the Tree Crops Development Authority is seeking to expand the palm oil sector under its national development policy.
And tree crops are well positioned within this 24-hour economy framework. We will no longer export raw cashew. And so I invite our investment partners who export cashew to come and build the capacity to process our cashew locally. I want to travel and be able to buy cashew and see produce of Ghana, not produce of India or produce of some third-party country.
Meanwhile, Sector Minister Eric Opoku says government is putting in place stringent measures to address Ghana's annual post-harvest losses.
Through the Tree Crop Development Authority, the ministry is strengthening regulatory oversight, improving data systems, enhancing licensing and compliance mechanisms, and creating a predictable operating environment for investors and exporters. Regulation is not an obstacle to growth. It is the foundation of sustainability and investor confidence.
Well, away from that, a building referred to as ministries by residents of Cape Coast, which houses several state agencies, is in a poor state, endangering the lives of workers and visitors. Built several decades ago, it has not seen any major renovation and now serves as a death trap. Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado reports.
The edifice, a towering 5-story building, is situated a few minutes away from the Cape Coast Castle. The famous building, owing to its occupancy by crucial state agencies, is now in complete ruins. Deep cracks have developed in the building and several portions already falling. According to some residents, the glory of what was once the most important edifice, where key governmental services were accessed, has now departed.
Quiet to say, a dear papa will keep coast to be a shree. Ufia or caucus or more baton, baby, and a massy, would you share entrance simple? Yanazama papenina restraining.
A few days ago, residents report that a section of the building collapsed, causing damage to a parked vehicle.
No one will here renovation, and I'm one potum obu.
Ebe ponsuso. Inti adecha de say then na hodin ba na ede eba form.
Lighting system in and around the building at night is poor, aiding some persons to turn it into a brothel.
Light is in him now, into among food, Obia Sorana, or Abeshe, a danimo, Obimpon, a girlfriend, or two mobishim will have a mangasam is menu.
In 2016, the National Disaster Management Organization NADMO declared the building as disaster-prone and unsafe. It was further directed for all agencies to be evacuated and relocated without delay. Since then, agencies such as the Ghana Immigration Services Regional Headquarters, Ghana News Agency GNA, Information Services Department ISD, Audit Service, among others, have already been relocated. However, the Ghana Education Service, Complementary Education Agency, and the Controller and Accountant General's Department continue to operate from within the building. Non-functioning washrooms leave staff of the agencies with no option but to either access public washrooms or go back to the house when nature calls.
It has even been declared as a disaster-prone zone. At times when you are even walking on the floors, you feel that it's shaking. Whenever it rains, the water drains from the 5th floor through the 4th floor to us. So at times we have to even vacate our rooms.
Apart from the cracks and broken floors, an awful stench emits from abandoned rooms. Occasionally, smoke emits from the destroyed elevator, throwing occupants into a state of fear. An officer who spoke to Channel 1 News under strict anonymity said even though several plea notices have been sent to the Regional Coordinating Council to provide alternative offices, none of the letters has been favorably responded to.
The building is no more safe for us, but because we don't have anywhere to go for now, we have to make use of it. We've written series of letters, at least to get us a temporary accommodations somewhere, but up to date, it has not been fruitful.
As this building faces an imminent collapse, which would put the safety of its occupants under threat, they are therefore calling for an urgent intervention from authorities. For the Channel 1 Newsroom, I am Akwesiado, Cape Coast Central Region.
Well, let's now head to the northern region where residents and students of Boadili and the surrounding communities in the Nanumba North Municipality are appealing for the establishment of a junior high school to help reduce the daily struggles faced by students. The students complain of exhaustion, loss of concentration in class and frequent lateness and are therefore calling for a junior high school in their community to ease their suffering. Channel 1 News' Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu Alabira reports.
For students in Boareyili and surrounding communities, accessing junior high school remains a daily struggle. The students travel long distances from Boareyili and neighboring communities to attend JHS at Benchiratanga, almost 10 kilometers away, exposing them to dangers on the busy road. When the Channel 1 news team visited the area early in the morning, students were seen trekking along the busy Eastern Corridor Road on their way to school. A tricycle operator who occasionally transports kindergarten pupils expressed serious concerns about the dangers on the road and has also appealed for the establishment of a school in the community.
One can imagine a student walking about 5 miles to school. This is maybe by this time they will be in class, but they are still on the way going. So when they get to the school, maybe the first lesson, they may miss the first lesson, and the stress on them may lead them to become weak in class. So because when they get there, they have to rest before maybe they can concentrate. But due to the stress on the walking, some of them may lose concentration.
The chief of Boareyili also spoke to Channel 1 News, recounting the dangers students face daily on the road.
Our children move from Boareyili here to Benchiratanga to attend junior high school. That wouldn't have been very serious. We happen to get a junior high school in this community. I think it will be a very vibrant school, which can accommodate so many people, like the communities I mentioned. We will all be contributing to the junior high school in Boareyili here. So we are appealing for help.
Meanwhile, the headmaster of Benchiratanga Junior High School, where most of the students attend, told Channel 1 News that records of absenteeism largely involve students from these communities. He explained that the long distances and daily struggles discourage regular attendance.
They walk before they set off and get to the school here. They'll get here late. After the assembly, they will arrive here. First lesson is even over. And when they enter, they are tired. They'll be sleeping. If you ask them, they say they are tired. And sometimes they have not eaten. If we want to check critically in our register, those who always absent themselves are the villagers. Wow. Yes. So actually it's a headache to us here.
Well, in some other news, the Food and Drugs Authority has cautioned the public against the use of cement or any unapproved substances in the preservation of beans following a viral video circulating on social media that suggests such a practice. In a press release issued on February 16, the authority stated that a video which appears to show beans being preserved with a white powdery substance believed to be cement does not reflect approved agricultural or food preservation practices in the country. Well, for more on this, we're joined by phone by the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of the Food Division at the Food and Drugs Authority, Roderick Dade Eje. Good evening to you, sir. I'm grateful to you for your time here on the Channel 1 Newsroom. I mean, your statement, all right, your statement did say that your checks reveal that this is currently not happening in Ghana. So I guess this is just precautionary.
Yes, it's precautionary, but you never know. Ghana is not only probably where you are and where I am. It's a big community, and we thought it wise to let information go on out there. That whatever you are seeing is something that is alien to Ghana, as well as also alien to the appropriate methods that are used in preserving beans. Using cement is not one of the ways.
Okay. So help educate us, help us understand some of the risks associated with a practice like this.
Yes, definitely. I mean, cement, number one, is not a product that is to be consumed. It is used in building. It is used to hold blocks firm. So you can just imagine you now applying cement powder to beans or maybe to maize or to rice, saying that you are using it to preserve. Have you not even noticed that normally cement, if the paper, protective paper around it, if it even breaks and there's a hole, in a while, in a short while, don't you realize that the cement, we say it cakes because it has absorbed atmospheric moisture, and then it makes it solid, and then soon you get a block of cement. So you can imagine applying that kind of material to your maize, and then you put it in, let's say, a bag, jute bag, and then you go and save it. You can bet by the time you are ready to use, you will see that probably it will be in clumps, or it would such a product, if you even wash it, you may have remnants of very fine powder, which can constitute what we call a physical hazard for your teeth. If you were to boil such a product, you will realize that it's kind of sandy or have some kind of sediment on it, which is due to this powder that we are using. So Ghanaians must first know that this is not, number one, a recommended method of, should I say, preserving. Number two, it's not even intelligent.
Okay.
Need to do such a thing to such a product, and probably somebody may be up to some mischief. So we want Ghanaians to take note that this is not a recommended thing, and people should not practice it with their products. There are approved ways of preserving such products.
Okay. Mr. J, I mean, given that we do import beans from neighboring countries, how do we ensure that the beans we are bringing into the country has not been preserved this way?
Yes, thank you. And that is why when you have food coming into the country, if it goes through the borders, if it goes through Tema, if it goes through the road, border post, we have FDA officers, for example, at Tema, to look at such goods that come in. And they are accompanied by what we call proper certificates. So we say phytosanitary certificates that they will come along with. It is inspected by FDA. It is inspected by PPRS, that is Plant Protection and Regulatory Services, before, and then it must also be registered by the Food and Drugs Authority before it comes into the country and can go to a warehouse and find its way onto the market. According to Section 97 of the Public Health Act, you cannot import, you cannot offer for sale, you cannot display, you cannot distribute any product, any food product that is not registered. So if any product has gone through such a regime, definitely during the inspection, because of the nature, one of the criteria that we look out for is to open the bag, at least some of them, and then just take a look. And one of the signs that we do when we are inspecting is to look at the coloration. So if you see the color of cement, if you had such a foreign, should I say, material that will be discoloring the maize or discoloring, let me say, beans, the characteristic color of beans, we would see straight away. That one is known by the market women. It is known by those who deal with the trade, and anything like that that is crossing the border post. And I'm sure you yourself, if we were to put it in front of you, you will see some kind of discoloration. So this is not a recommended thing. And please, anybody who sees anyone that is applying any improper or inappropriate method of preserving such a product, please kindly let the Food and Drugs know, or the PPRS, that's the Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Department, or Ministry of Food and Agriculture, local government, environmental health officers. let them know wherever it's happening, whether it is in the market, whether any storage facility that there is.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Mr. Roderick Dade Ajay, the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of Food Division at the Food and Drugs Authority. Grateful to you for your time here on the Channel One Newsroom. Well, this is still the Channel One Newsroom here on Channel One TV. Still ahead. Chinese vehicles gradually flooding Ghana's automobile market despite a reduction in prices of used vehicles. We have details of that and others coming up shortly. Please don't go away.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hydradenitis suppurativa, using laser ligature for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, is Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us and we will delight you. Visit the Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofuswejari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Yeah, welcome back. This is the Channel One Newsroom here on Channel One TV. Next is business with Natele Netiajaho. Welcome, Natele. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
All right. What do you have?
I have a question for you. Between Chinese cars and the second-hand cars, which one would you go for?
Well, it depends on the brand. I mean,
of the Chinese car?
It depends on the brand of the vehicle. I mean, some vehicles, even when they are used, may be better than brand new vehicles. So
really, but now the market is becoming a little dynamic.
Yeah, I mean,
with the
you
Chinese
see a lot
cars
of these
in.
Chinese vehicles on the road.
So, but we are getting reports that a lot of people are going in for Chinese cars now.
Well, it's their choice.
Yeah. Let me give you the story. Okay, now Ghana's automotive sector is showing early signs of price stabilization, with dealers reporting reductions of up to 15%, supported by improved exchange rate stability. Meanwhile, new Chinese car brands are intensifying competition, offering affordable yet future-rich alternatives to the country's traditionally dominant second-hand imports. The critical question, however, here for industry stakeholders is whether consumers will shift their purchasing preferences towards these emerging options. Emmanuel Opong has more in this report.
The traditional model of vehicle ownership, largely driven by second-hand imports, is now being challenged by competitively priced new vehicles with modern features. In some showrooms in Accra, a brand new Chinese Cherry Tiggo 2 is selling for about 215,000 Ghana cedis, lower than the price of a home-use Honda Civic S hatchback, which is selling at about 250,000 cedis. Over the weekend, some local players announced price reductions of up to 15%. They attribute the adjustment to improved exchange rate stability and growing competition in the market.
There has been more garages all over the place. That is why they are not buying the cars. So it's you yourself. It's up to you to reduce it. If not so, they won't buy it.
But some dealers say the reductions are modest, arguing that high port charges and import costs continue to squeeze margins.
I have a challenge. All what the government is doing, the customs and the shipping lines are not helping the government. If the government can go further and work on it, it will help us. That the reduction that they are saying, it will reflect on the customers.
Meanwhile, Chinese dealers are promoting brand new vehicles as affordable options.
Before, people usually go and take as home use the vehicle because they are so-called cheaper. However, our Zonda's vehicles, like our Cherry, our GWM, the price is even cheaper, much cheaper than home use the vehicle, and the quality is much better. And we have 5-year warranty for our customers, and you are enjoy comfortability.
Ultimately, the purchasing power rests with buyers who are weighing upfront costs against durability, resale value, and long-term maintenance.
I think I will go for the Chinese electric cars, whereas maybe the hybrid, that's a part engine and part electric. The only challenge is the charging point, but these days they are all over and they are coming. In fact, it's even much better.
Me mangasa manyesika na mekotoka dia me odwa na meto home use na meto god me hunya ma Toyota minimse Toyota say na say BBC twena say na eko Honda no shy one Honda bi wo dada wom abededa enya afi na baba.
After years of rising car prices, Ghana's automobile industry appear to be making a turning point, but the word affordability is relative. For Channel 1 Business, I am Emmanuel Opo.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has cautioned that regulatory efforts targeting virtual assets and blockchain technologies must be designed carefully to safeguard the central role of the Ghana cedi in the domestic financial system. Acting head of the Central Bank's FinTech and Innovation Department, Oreku Asari, raised the concern during the inaugural Ghana Virtual Assets and Financial Services Symposium organized by the Chamber of Digital Assets and Blockchain Innovation. There's more in this report by Daniel Sakiti.
For the Bank of Ghana, while the digital asset regulation is expected to promote innovation and strengthen investor protection, acting head of the FinTech and Innovation Department at the Central Bank, Oreku Asari, maintains that the cedi must remain at the core of Ghana's monetary system as a key symbol of economic sovereignty.
Allowing innovation to facilitate exchange of value has nothing to do with relegating our currency. Our currency, which is the Ghana cedi, will continue to be the sovereign currency.
Deputy Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mensa Thompson, says the regulator is finalizing its regulatory sandbox framework together with other guidelines, directives and regulatory instruments needed to operationalize the Act.
These instruments will set out clear requirements for licensing, for governance, for operational standards, risk management, reporting obligations, and supervisory oversight.
President of the Chamber of Digital Assets and Blockchain Innovation, Caleb Afaglo, on his part, announced plans to collaborate with regulators and industry players to clamp down on illicit use of virtual assets.
The advantages are tremendous, but are there bad nuts in there? Yes, there might be. So what we do is we are going to allow the regulators to work with us so we can plug out the bad nuts and make sure the environment is safe for you and I.
Let's now bring you an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's all for business. I am Netili Netiajao. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Netili. Well, let's do some other stories now. And open defecation remains a persistent issue amongst the many communities in the Greater Accra region, particularly due to the lack of toilet facilities in some areas. The coast along Teshi Sangona is one of those areas. Ni Okai Setre of the Channel 1 Newsroom paid a visit to the area and filed this report.
Despite expanded access to basic sanitation services globally, billions of people, especially in rural areas, still lack these essential facilities. According to the United Nations, the absence of proper sanitation remains a pressing issue. One of such areas in Ghana is Teshi Sangona in the Lejokuku Municipal Assembly. This community is among many in Ghana without access to toilet facilities, forcing residents to resort to open defecation along the beach.
Many near me bien can you about women 2021 ameba police ba soldier ba na ba wiake akpanu na ni aseya because if it no he ko hu elolo agbene wa make bi efe ni asekula where public toilet here go na bu where public toilet here go na bu na ya one city e ko ye junction no wo charge me club junction e ko ye jagbede ko te pipe pa na le hu e ko ye jagbene bi na mu agama e wo bi e fojiam
The latest statistics from the Ghana Statistical Service paint a deeply troubling picture as it reveals that about 5.4 million Ghanaians, representing 18% of the national population, still practice open defecation. Despite Ghana's commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 6.2, which aims to end open defecation globally by 2030, the government must pay attention to such areas in order to meet this target. Residents are calling on the government for assistance.
Take bafi no ka government e ba anya ba me dey bafi ko nbu eke payment bi feel mo ba pay every month ko na mo go na ekule chu isu aresa na ko ja ke je me aja say onye o cash man ke o musu nye mo obo ke toilet e sia me be problem
opa na ru e fai ni toilet here abagbele awo ko ni me ni wa so na aka ni bi ni amepa.
Director of the Metro Public Health Department at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Engineer Florence S. Kuchi, in an interview with Channel 1 News, said the Assembly has vowed to fight this menace within the Accra metropolis by prosecuting anyone caught in the act of open defecation.
AMA, we are not sleeping. AMA, we are coming on anybody that is thinking of doing open defecation. Our men are out there, both night and dawn, and we will grab you. When we grab you, we have grabbed you. And my lady will make sure that she places you at the right place so that from there you will go and sin no more.
Well, let's now do some politics. The Efutu branch of the National Democratic Congress is demanding the immediate transfer of the Electoral Commission's director for the municipality with alleged misapplication of election guidelines in the recently held NPP presidential primary. The demand follows allegations by a former member of the NPP that some persons were allowed to vote on behalf of 16 deceased delegates of the party during that election. Our Central Regional Correspondent, Akosiado, has more.
A former Efutu constituency chairman for the New Patriotic Party NPP, Kojo Ham, who was the campaign coordinator for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is alleging that some 16 persons were made to vote in the stead of deceased delegates of the party, an action which contravened the party and Electoral Commission's guidelines for public elections.
There are 16 members in the delegated there. So the monk of MPP electoral commission yeah arrangement the book of a lot of delegates wouldn't be put anymore. And the MPP of electoral commission yes, take it from me, I told you. Hey, because I was there.
Reacting to the allegations at a press conference, the Efutu NDC constituency secretary, Abraham Henry Arthur, held that the allegations exonerate the NDC of their long-held charges of collusion between the Electoral Commission and the Efutu NPP. He described Ham's remarks as a confirmation of the NDC's claims that electoral processes are in most cases sidestepped in the Efutu constituency, citing incidents such as registration of non-residents, underaged, among others.
You will all recall that the NDC in Efutu in recent times has continuously, through several democratic means such as petitions, press conferences and statements, demonstrations, etc., raised legitimate concerns about the professional conduct of the Electoral Commission in the municipality and how their omissions and negligence facilitate Efutu MPP's election rigging agendas, including district-level elections. Busing of non-residents from the nook and cranny of the country to register at each of the over 150 polling centers in the constituency, registration of underage, and the deliberate refusal to comply with lawful regulations governing public elections, among others, are a few of the many unlawful incidences that happened in Efutu, which influenced the outcome of public elections during the last 8 years of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led administration.
Apart from demanding full-scale investigations into the conduct of the NPP primary organized in Efutu and publication of the findings, the NDC is also demanding the immediate transfer of the Efutu district director of the Electoral Commission. They have also demanded the temporary suspension of all electoral activities under the supervision of the Electoral Commission until confidence is restored in the discharge of their duties.
Mrs. Jen Mensah, to, as a matter of urgency, within 14 days, transfer the district electoral officer and their cronies from the Electoral Commission. Temporary suspension of all electoral activities under the supervision of the Electoral Commission until confidence is restored in the discharge of their duties.
Now, the Advertising Association of Ghana has called for urgent stakeholder engagement to address what it describes as growing clutter within the country's advertising space. According to the association, it has taken a firm position to protect the outdoor advertising sector. There is more in this report.
Billboard proliferation, particularly in Accra, has been a subject of public debate. Concerns range from structural safety risk and obstruction of sightlines to revenue leakages and regulatory fragmentations among metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. In several major cities across the country, assemblies have embarked on an exercise to regulate and sanitize the system, leading to the demolition of billboards. However, the umbrella body for Ghana's advertising industry, the Advertisers Association of Ghana, has in recent times raised concerns about the wave of demolition. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, the president of the association said while the association acknowledges the need to sanitize the outdoor advertisement landscape, its members are in the dark.
As a body that harnesses majority of these outdoor players in terms of their size and all of that, we think that we should be called to come and sit and have a conversation. It is true that we got the invitation from the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to be part of the committee. But the committee's job is not done. We have a lot of information, we have a lot of data, we have a lot of thoughts, a lot of skills, know-how. We have a lot of audit and reports in the past that we are willing to share with the committee. But the committee is not done with its work. In fact, we wrote a letter requesting that we want a lot more representation. The reason why we ask that is that you cannot form a committee that is decongesting the cities and not involve the players in the industry.
The advertisers are appealing to government and the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to intervene in what they describe as disorderly and opaque demolition exercise targeting billboards.
There's a document prepared by the Ghana Standard Authority with a lot of experts and professionals in the field, from engineers to surveyors to all experts in the industry, Ghana Urban Roads, Highways Authority, all of them, Ghana Surveyors Institute, to come up with GS 847-2019 second edition, which will be a guideline to the MMDAs before they issue a permit, because they are the one who holds the law in their bosom to issue a permit, just like they issue a permit to build a house. Unfortunately, and we are not here to cast aspersions at anyone, unfortunately, the results of those permit issuance is what we see on the roads.
Excitement is building ahead of the 2026 Heritage Caravan, with the organizers confirming that preparations are underway for the 8-day tour across 14 regions of the country. Sponsors like Piva Beverages and Caveman Watches are both eager to showcase their offerings during the long-awaited 10th edition. Channel 1 News' Melody Fafak Potife has more.
The 10th edition of the Heritage Caravan promises nothing but the best. The tour, slated from March 1 to March 8 across 14 regions, aims to highlight Ghana's rich history, traditions and tourism potential. On Tuesday, a delegation from Channel 1 TV and City FM, including Head of Event and Partnerships Frema Edunyame, Business Development Manager Omani Mensah Bunsu, and Sales Manager for Radio, Ivy Odro, paid a visit to one of the sponsors, Piva Beverages, to ascertain their readiness ahead of the caravan. Board Chair for Piva Beverages, Frank Ejay Mensah, noted that they are excited to be on board the 10th edition of the Heritage Caravan, this time working to improve its regional logistics services, marking its second year on the caravan. He further indicated that his first dairy product, Viva, will be launched on the second day of the tour.
We will do a mini launch of the dairy or the strawberry on the second day, so I think people should watch out for that. We make it very, very big and where it will be. So we are ready on our side. We've done internal meetings a lot, and I think this time around, logistically, instead of moving one pickup to follow the convoy throughout, we've zoned them into the region. So all the regional managers will be ready. The moment they get to the region, they'll provide the goods. Once you leave your region, his work ends, the other one takes over. So I think logistically we are more than ready for this.
The team also visited Caveman Watches and embarked on a familiarization tour of the facility. Making a debut sponsorship on the 2026 Heritage Caravan, CEO of Caveman Watches, Anthony Jamefe, credited the company's achievements and milestones since its inception to the generous support of City FM and Channel 1 TV.
We started this brand with you guys. Whether you know it or not, you've been the best platform we've had from the beginning. Really? So every now and then, he knows how sentimental I am about City anytime it comes up, because I always attribute a great chunk of the success to the generosity from you guys. Because people is like, hey, how much have you paid City? The way Bernard can hype you, the way they can hype. It's just been selflessness and grace. So big thanks to you all the time.
Head of Events and Partnerships at Channel 1 TV and City FM, Frema Edunyame, says organizers are focused on fostering an environment that allows sponsors to effectively promote their product and services, ensuring advantages for the brands involved.
We are ready to move, and we are very excited that Caveman is on as well, because we are looking at creating beautiful experiences together and looking at people becoming ambassadors of Caveman, subtly, without even forcing them to do so. Yeah. And it means that what we hope to give out, will be great marketing tools for people to go with. This year is the 10th edition.
Now, the Building and Road Research Institute of the Council for Scientific Research is proposing concrete measures, including the periodic training of artisans in the construction space to address issues of building collapse. Researchers and experts at the institute have stressed the need for the country to prioritize safety of citizens over the cost components that arise when commercial and public buildings collapse. Channel 1 News' Middle Belt Bureau Chief Hafiz Tijani has more.
Recent building collapse in parts of the country have largely been blamed on either weak foundations or the structural integrity of these facilities. Experts at the Building and Road Research Institute say issues of building collapse must be viewed with more focus on the safety of the populace.
Can imagine school children living in structures that are defective. It's mind-boggling, it's worrying. So it's important we take this very seriously and be able to do this.
The Institute is leading efforts to build capacities of artisans, more importantly, with the rollout of government's flagship Big Push program.
Appropriate for us to train people on the appropriate use of concrete to achieve optimum results.
They've been doing things over the years for some time, and they think that, wrong things have been normalized. And so it is time that we try to right the wrongs by imparting knowledge to them.
The Building and Road Research Institute partnered with GASEM and assembled artisans, including civil engineers, to train them on basic issues.
At GASEM, our motto is nation builder. And you can't build the nation with only products. You build it with the people with the right skills. That's why we believe that when they finish with this training, they will be able to go out there to implement whatever they have learned.
We are here for the top-up knowledge for us to go out there, to go and implement it so that our structures will be able to meet the test of time.
For me as an architect, it will help me understand everything in relation to the right mixtures, the ratios and all that. Then I can be able to supervise our masons on site.
You are watching the Channel 1 Newsroom here on Channel 1 TV with me, Charles Osukume. Still to come. Sports Ministry optimistic Black Princesses will qualify for 2026 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland. We are back with details shortly. Please don't go away.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, let the lights
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV and GoTV.
We are gearing up for the trip of a lifetime. Heritage Caravan 2026. From 1st to 8th March 2026, 8 days, 14 regions, 1 legendary caravan. We're touring Ghana in the most spectacular way on the Heritage Caravan, exploring the beauty, history, and stories that make our nation unique. Rolling out from Greater Accra through Eastern and OT, up north to the Northern and Upper East, and all the way to the Western region, hitting iconic destinations across Ghana. The Heritage Caravan 2026 will be fun, educative, refreshing, and most of all, remarkable. Stay connected. Follow Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM across all social media platforms for updates, and join the conversation using the hashtag Heritage Caravan 2026. The Heritage Caravan 2026 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from City FM.
And it's proudly sponsored by Holland Insurance, Piva Beverages, Omni Basic Bank, Caveman Watches, Gino, Didi Shito, Goyle, Minimi Achumo, and Admi Granite Paste. And it's supported by Nanes Rice.
Heritage Caravan 2026, experience Ghana like never before.
Oh, thank you for staying with us here on the Channel One Newsroom. Next is sports with Bernard Abeku. Abeku, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You're next.
Let's get into it, shall we? Great. Now, the senior technical advisor to the Ministry for Sports and Recreation, Betty Crosby, that's Crosby Mensah, believes the current generation of black princesses has the potential to outperform their predecessors following their recent qualification progress. Her comments come after the black princesses edged past South Africa 3-2 on aggregate in the third round of qualifiers and booked a final qualification tie against Uganda for a place at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Poland later this year.
One, we realized that most often the girls do not have a lot of play time, and that is how come from January, I think December last year, they were kept at the camp that is in Prampra, just so they will be able to experience each other more. They will have that group, you know, the teamwork, the team spirit, to be able to understand themselves as a team. And so the technical team is seriously working on it. I believe that the team as we have today is a better team than before, if you ask me. And I am convinced that it also has more to do with leadership issues. Of course, if you look at the administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the experience of Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, it is obvious that they are committed to our sports in general. And so they are going to do everything humanly possible to encourage, to inspire, to motivate, and to ensure that the girls are given the necessary support to give out their best for the country.
Let's now talk about the greatest league on planet Earth, and Arsenal's goalkeeper David Raya is hoping Arsenal can make this a historic season as they look to win a first Premier League title in 22 years and a first piece of silverware since 2020. The Gunners are fighting on all four fronts with the chance of completing an unprecedented quadruple. Still a possibility for Mikel Arteta's side. The 30-year-old believes that togetherness in the Arsenal squad could play a key part in them getting over the line at the business end of the season.
Those goals together and how good it could be if we made this a historical season, it'll be incredible. That's why we play football, that's why we play for Arsenal, that's why everybody comes here to win trophies, to make something special and to make the fans happy and the club happy. So that is something that is really, really important for us, and that, like I said, that's why we play for Arsenal.
As the very latest from the world of sport, and I am Bernard Abeku. That's your sports shelves.
Thank you very much, Abeku. Well, that will be all for this edition of the Channel One Newsroom here on Channel One TV. Do visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel One TV on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Channel One TV. Download the Channel One TV app on the Google Play Store. I am Charles O.